Hi guys, I know it's been a while. Thanks for not giving up on me. I have done a lot of soul searching in the last 2-3 weeks, trying to figure out what's going on in my head, and a lot of things has happened. I got custody of my little sister. She's 9, so I have 2 kids now, and I'm single, and that's not easy. And I don't like change. I've never been one for change, so it threw me into an anxiety that I can't really explain, like almost like a hopeless feeling, and I haven't felt that since, well, I have, but I know that feeling from childhood, you know. So I've had a really hard time of it, adjusting, and I'm also moving, and these are not excuses. These are why I got some of my breakfast right there. Anyways, this is why I have been absent. You know, I haven't had anything good to say. I haven't wanted to come on here and say, hey, you know, I'm gaining my weight back. You know, I haven't wanted to do that. And I don't gain too much, but I need to get back into it. But last night I did go to the YMCA and do an hour spin class, and it hurts. So I am back into it now. But I wanted to explain some things. A lot of times people don't explain, like, or know why they do the things they do. And I do. I grew up in a pretty turbulent environment. My mom had my sister when she was 16 and me when she was 17. And she was already drinking, like, pretty frequently, but not so bad. And she still used to make a point of reading to us at night and tucking us in, and I cherish those memories. But when I was around 3 or 4, she started drinking a little bit more. And with the drinking came violence. She never really hit me because I didn't really push her buttons, but she would hit my sister. And the guilt from that is indescribable. I felt like I don't know what I felt, but it was hard to watch my sister get hurt, and I would suck up to my mom and try to be the one that was like, so that I wouldn't get hurt. But then I'd feel guilty because I was like, well, my sister still is, you know. And then by the time I was maybe 6 years old, my mother was drinking almost every night, and then she had started using meth, which takes all your parental, what do you say? It takes all of your parental abilities and throws them out the window, basically. She stopped caring about us in a lot of ways. There was piles of clothes, and for school we would just pick from the pile, and they were so dirty and gross and smelly, but that's what we wear every day. We went 2 years without electricity. We would fight over a box of Rice-A-Roni because that was all there was to eat. It was a survivor mode in a lot of ways. I would walk around feeling like I had to be on tiptoes, you know. Then when I was 8, my mother got pregnant with my little brother, and she was still on meth the whole time she was pregnant, so it wasn't, and drinking heavily. She didn't know who his dad was. There was a lot of men in and out of her life. I can remember, you know, it was like a revolving door in a way. Anyways, when he was born, he was, there was something wrong with him. I think it was drug withdrawal, actually, but my mom had lied about what it was. She said he was born a little too early, but it's not true. It was drug withdrawal. And he was a hard baby, but my mother would not take care of him. She would leave, and it would be me and my sister, who's a year older than me, that at 8 and 9 we would be changing diapers, and mostly her, but me too, making sure he was okay and stuff. And I can remember one Christmas where my mom was at her worst, as you can say. We were living in a little rural house that had no electricity and all that stuff, but it was Christmas, and what we got for Christmas that year was used candles that were wrapped. That was our Christmas present. Wrapped used candles. I don't understand the logic. I would rather get nothing than a used candle, but hey. And around that time, my mom met my stepdad, which he was a great guy. He tried to get her off drugs and all that. And I'd never had a dad figure really, and I took to him really well. But they would fight a lot because my mom was really drug addicted. You know, very, very into her own little world. And he would smoke pot and stuff, but he wasn't a druggie by any means, you know. Well, anyways, he moved us out to a different town so that my mom could start over. And for a little bit there, we had a really, you know, happy life. He was a good man. And but he didn't realize it, but he moved us in with his dad, and his dad was a child molester. Yes. And around this same time, Richie, that was his name, went out with his friends, and they were drinking, and it was snowing, and they got in a car accident, and Richie was killed instantly. And at this time, my mom had another little son now, so I was 9, maybe 9 or 10. I don't know, but she had my brother Derek, and he was not drug addicted because Richie did a really good job of getting my mom, you know, away from all that. So, but when he died, things got from really good, well, not really good because we were living with a child molester, but went from okay to really, really bad. My mom started using drugs, but worse than she ever had before because she really loved Richie, and he was gone. And now she had 4 children. So she moved us back to Redding because the Richie's dad, which was the child molester, was getting really bad at this point, and my mom realized it. We won't go there. So we moved back to Redding, and let's see. My mom never came home. I mean, she would come home, get some stuff, and leave. Or she'd come home, puke, vomit, leave. You know, it's like she'd come home to when she didn't have drugs and she needed to come down, kind of thing. You know, that's the only time my mom would come home. She had lost it completely. It was around this time that, I forgot to mention that we'd been put in foster care a few times before that, and always given back. My mom would do a drug treatment plan and come back. The first time we were put in foster care was maybe 6 months before Richie had died. They found drugs in a little boy's jacket and the little boy had been staying with us, and it was my mom's drugs. So they found that at school. So they pulled us right out of school, and we were put into foster care for, I would say that one was maybe 3 months at the most. Anywhere from, you know, a month and a half to 3 months. But they gave us right back to her. And that's when Richie and her started getting clean, you know, like pulling her together. And then the second time was right after Richie died. My mom tried to put herself in a drug rehabilitation program. And so for a month we went into a foster home. And it was okay. We weren't split up, and it was just... it was what it was, you know. And then they gave us back. And after that's when my mom went over the deep end. When we got back to Redding, things were horrible. I didn't even feel like a child. Like, we worried about bills. We worried about where we were going to sleep. 1 second. Sorry, I'm at work. So anyways, I don't know what I was saying, but in Redding it got really bad. We were homeless, sleeping in cars sometimes, and the last straw was when my mother, we had just gotten into this house. My mother had a miscarriage. Well, we found out later it wasn't a miscarriage. She had a child and gave her up for adoption, didn't tell anybody. But we thought it was a miscarriage. And from that, she had liver failure, and I don't know what else it was, but she was bleeding internally and liver failure, so she was going to die. So they took her home from the hospital, and they said, find a place for your kids. You're not going to make it. And that was devastating, watching my mom almost die. But in some, I don't know if she's a fighter or what, but in some way she survived. And she got even worse from there. I think giving up a child for adoption was really hard for my mother. Didn't see her at all. Didn't, she'd never come around. And then she left for 4 days and left us, and all that was left in the house was some Chex Mix, a big bag of Chex Mix from the 4th of July party. And my brother had a medical condition where he was dying, which, story of my life, but right in front of me, and my sister was in Wairika, so she staying with an aunt. She couldn't put up with my mom anymore. So it was just me at 11 years old trying to take care of a dying brother that I didn't know at the time was dying. I just knew he was really sick. And then my other brother with no food, no running water, no electricity. And I went over to the neighbor's house and knocked on their door and asked them for some milk for my brother. And they asked me where my mother was. And I told them she's not there, And from that, the cops showed up. I opened the door and there they were. Yay. It was the scariest experience of my life, and I felt completely hopeless. I felt guilty because the house was dirty and maybe I could have cleaned it. I felt bad because the toilets were clogged. I felt bad because there was water inside the bathtub because I had given the boys a bath and didn't drain it. They called CPS out and they started taking pictures of my brother's body because the type of blood condition he had was creating bruises all over his body. So they thought he had been beaten, which he was my mom's favorite, so that had never happened. But they started taking pictures of him, and it was humiliating. The whole neighborhood was out front watching us. My brother that's older than Derek, he was 2 at the time, maybe, or 3. He was just screaming and scared of the cops because my mom had taught him to be scared of the cops. And so it was just, when CPS finally showed up, it was a worker I recognized because she had worked with us in the past. She put us in a van and we took off, and she said once we got to the building, CPS building, we were there for a few hours, and she made me choose which brother I wanted to live with, which was the hardest thing I've ever had to do, is choose a brother to live with. But I chose my sick brother because that's the decision I made. Anyways, I was in foster care from the time I was 11 until I was 18. I aged out and I went to the military. But my past haunts me. The molest haunts me. The neglect, the feeling like I have to be responsible for everything, the hopeless feeling that I had all the time. Constant search for my mom's love, having no daddy figure, all that stuff has caused me to be this person, and that's what I'm working on. And when I got custody of my sister just recently, that is threw me overboard, I think, thinking about it, because then I had to face that I was the same age as her when things started going downhill, and it's not easy. But I'm getting there, and yesterday I did do a spin class. My butt hurts. I'm trying to fix me from the inside out, and I don't know where to begin. But this is what created me, is my past, and so I wanted to explain that a little bit, why. Maybe it'd be therapeutic for me too, who knows. But that's why I am the way I am, and that's why I keep giving up on myself, sabotaging, going back, figuring it out again. I think that'll always be a part of me, is just sabotaging myself. So, yeah, I'm starting over. And this is really long, so I guess I should let you guys go. But that's where I'm coming from. Please don't give up on me. I'm going back to TOPS today. I'm doing my way in, and I'm starting from scratch. So I'll let you guys know.